It feels like just yesterday we got up here to watch episode 1 and now we're already saying goodbye to season 2, but not for long. But I gotta admit, that month break, it is gonna eat away at me. This was planned from the start. This isn't unexpected. We knew from the start that we were getting the first 5 episodes, this mini arc. We would take a month break, come back August 31st, and we would have then 18 episodes back to back of the next Jujutsu Kaisen arc. But it is weird to say goodbye after having such a memorable arc that finally explains, it paints it 100% crystal clear what caused Geto to truly go mad and to lose it, and why he has this desire to kill the monkeys, and to see his descent into madness and how it wasn't an immediate shift. There was so many things that had to go wrong and line up in the most chaos designed fashion for this to occur, and it's honestly kind of remarkable of how it all did. The way he explains what he was going through, and you can see it, the wear and tear under his eyes. It's not even bags under his eyes, it's like the sweet relief of death that he wishes would take him from this. Day after day, no longer having his pal Gojo around because Gojo, being the strongest sorcerer, he's doing his own thing. Sent off on these missions alone, coming back, seeing multiple friends and colleagues dead before your eyes. And for what? The way he explains that consuming these spirits, no one can even comprehend what that's like. Basically a shit-covered cloth that he has to choke down day after day. No wonder he did pop off, and he just, after having these 2 kids in a cage, being told to kill them, he snaps. And honestly, I can't say I blame him after what he went through. Live reaction to Season 2, Episode 5 of Jujutsu Kaisen is available on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full uncut thoughts as we watch the last episode of this arc, and damn am I excited to jump into the next one. Like, I'm so happy with how they portrayed this, because really, when you compare the ending of last week to walking into this, it doesn't feel like he would be the one who would immediately be saying, you know what, let's just start killing, right? Because he's literally the one who said, you know what, killing this cultist group is gonna solve nothing. They're gonna get punished, right? So what happens? And we see that the most powerful sorcerer, Gojo, which, I mean, when we compare modern day Gojo, who's even more insane than where he currently is at this point in time in the Jujutsu Kaisen story, night and day difference. And the idea of almost being forced to go at it alone and just day after day looking at this world feeling like, what can we do to stop this from happening? Why do I have to basically eat the shit covered sandwich day after day? And if that was all it was, maybe you could say, you know, still, why that descent into madness? But just the shock, the awe, like, why can't Gojo just do it all? He's the best of the best. Why do I have to keep seeing people I care about die before me? And that conversation about how there's a couple of ways you could go about it. The easiest way would probably be, yeah, you could probably kill all humans. That would solve the issue at play. These spirits can come around. But there's obviously, you know, the better solutions are always the more challenging. But despite disagreeing with Geto's mindset of why he's doing what he's doing, I can completely rationalize and understand why he got that way. It wasn't an immediate shift, and I think they did such a good job with his face. Every time you looked at him, it wasn't even just that it was bags under the eye. It felt like someone who was either a moment away from shooting up a school or jumping off a bridge. There was no in between. He was absolutely at death's doorstep, and the idea that the first scene we see of him after burning down an entire village, he looks happy. It looks like he had the best night rest he would ever have, or has ever had in years. And the fact that that confrontation between Gojo and him just, you know, in this moment, could Gojo have killed him? Probably. He probably could have killed Geto in this moment. And honestly, I don't think Geto would have been overly upset in that particular moment. He said, that's your right, do what you will. But no one can believe. Principal can't believe, he can't believe, no one can comprehend that the order to eliminate Geto came, because why would he do that? And to see that moment where, with the 2 girls, as he kind of pats their head, as we see no longer in the cage, and the fact that you have this, like, this scene, it's like in an auditorium. He's talking about how you should follow, and then just immediately when it looks like people aren't probably listening, he just completely crushes some fool in the crowd, and just, you can see that this is now who we recognize from before. And I think it was a brilliant idea to have this almost mini arc to really get us to understand what that bond was like. There's so many things, like I said, that had to go wrong for this to occur, and you have to imagine, had Geto and Gojo not been separated after almost Gojo's awakening and his amazing powers, it's hard to believe exactly this would have occurred. I feel like, you know, Gojo might have been able to see a lot of this coming, seeing the wear and tear in his eyes or the distress, and potentially in a different timeline, in a different reality, them continuing to work together, not sending him off to eat shit sandwiches by himself. Potentially, we might have avoided this from ever happening. And on one hand, for their relationship's sake, you wish that would have happened. But for the narrative, I'm glad it didn't, because then we wouldn't have gotten what we've seen so far with, obviously, Jujutsu Kaisen, and most importantly, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which was fantastic. It's just, like, this is where it's like, on one hand, you're a little salty that you have to wait till August 31st, a month from now, to watch episode 6. But on the flip side, you know, the amount of passion and quality I felt from this arc, if that just means we wait this month so that not only do we get Jujutsu Kaisen for the rest of the year weekly, I want to see the next arc, because I've heard nothing but good things. And as a huge Gojo fan, and now a huge Geto fan, this arc was special to me. I really enjoyed it. While yes, the deaths and the animation when it did pop off, like with Purple last week, were definitely the most shocking and probably noteworthy moments people are talking about with this arc, I see no difference with this episode from the past two. It was just as important, and while the first two episodes were very good, 3 through 5 were in a completely different league of their own, in my humble opinion. Obviously, anytime a shonen gets popular, people will always, the criticisms you'll see online is people only talk about it because of the fights, or they only talk about it because of some waifu or some self-insert MC. But Jujutsu Kaisen's special. I mean, the main character of Jujutsu Kaisen, we don't even see all that much recently, especially in the grand picture of what you would think, right? But the idea that this world, the power system, the way they explain these things, but most importantly, that descent into madness and what causes someone who, when you look at the start of this arc, even knowing he ends up where he does, it's hard to believe Geto becomes someone who just wants to eliminate, especially with, like I said, last week ending with Gojo saying, I'm feeling nothing. If you want to, we could kill everyone in this room and that's okay. He literally diffused that situation, and to see in such a short few moments and just seeing how alone, isolated, depressed, and angry at this world he is, what can he do to escape from it? I can completely understand what ends up causing someone to snap like that. I don't excuse it, but you understand what happens, and honestly, that's what makes Jujutsu Kaisen special. I love hyping up the big fights, the big moments like those, the big deaths. Those are fun. But honestly, my favorite thing that I saw in this entire package of this small 5-episode arc is this episode watching what caused him to finally snap. And it's not him burning down a village or him crushing someone in a crowd that's like the best moment. It's actually the simple moments where he's not even talking. We're seeing the wear and tear. And that's the beauty of Jujutsu Kaisen's character writing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But let me know what you thought. Whether if you're a fan of that manga, anime original, what did you think of this arc, and what would you like to see going forward with the next arc, which, yes, a month away, but Jujutsu Kaisen will be back before we know. So let me know down below what you're feeling. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more Jujutsu Kaisen in a little bit. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction to this episode available on my Patreon, and hey, while you're there, you'll also get a video shoutout. So today we have a Buggy Ninja, a Loon, Blood iOS, Chemist, and Flippy Napkin. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.